Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the WCS Season 2 Final cast, and we are going to be getting back into the very first quarterfinal. It is going to be a blue Protoss player first, down the bottom right side of the map, and a red Terran player, aLive, down the bottom left side of the map. And yes, a little bit of back and forth going on here. aLive taking the first game quite convincingly. A bit more of an even game in the second game, sort of a bit all over the place. aLive doing some great stuff with Triple M, and but first coming in the end, and just with the good old Zealot harass constantly into aLive's bases, and just a beautiful use of Colossus and Storms, getting some beautiful plays down, and yeah, just overall really good. What I really liked from first in the previous game was his constant flank out of nowhere high Templar storms. You'd be running your forces like down here, and you expect the army to be over here, and then suddenly two high Templars would come from over here, just completely out of nowhere, and then storm your army. And it could happen at any time, in any place, and aLive just had quite a bit of, he couldn't deal with it. He couldn't deal with it. The storms kept hitting him, and obviously the high Templars would die straight after, but the storms just kept adding up over and over again, and eventually first taking it out with just beautiful use of all these high-tech units. And yeah, so it's 1-1 so far in this series, and we will see exactly how that goes. As I may have mentioned from the cast where I watched the game one, they were saying that first is the favoured player in this series between these two. So we will see, though. I think aLive has definitely shown that he is more than capable of beating first when it comes down to it, and all it's going to come down to is, can he make it work in the next two games? Because that's it. He can afford to lose one more game, but if he loses two games, then he's out, because it's a best of 5, and we've had one player win one game each so far. So it's really kind of come down to just go out there, win as many games as you can, try not to lose a game, and hopefully you'll make it into the semi-finals. So yeah, I was about to say enough talk from me, but the fact is, if I wasn't talking, this would be a pretty boring cast. It would just be watching the action, and yeah, that would probably be boring after a while, because obviously you can just watch the replay yourself. These replays are all freely available, I think. I got them from a site. I can't remember what the name of the site is, but I got it written down somewhere. But they do a crap load of replays all over the place. So yeah, definitely very awesome. And so far, this is actually a bit of a trend, I think. But aLive getting his expansion down before first. This is actually quite late, I'd say, for this map, getting this expansion down quite late. And he does have a cybernetics core down before the expansion, so going to be getting some early sentries out. He's got the mothership core out as well. Not sure if this is really going to do much. He's got 5 marines out, so the mothership core might be able to ping off a couple of workers, but that's probably it. Yeah, so we will see exactly what happens. It's a pity the mothership core can't overcharge the bloody command center to attack its own units, but that would probably just be too much. So here we go, the single stalker. So this might be a stalker mothership sort of offensive. Here the mothership core just went in, then went out again. Is trying to get those forces, all the marines, to sort of go up and chase him, and that would have allowed the stalker to get in here, and then he can do a dual-pronged attack. Whenever the marines are down the bottom, the mothership core runs out. Whenever the marines are at the top, the stalker runs out. Unfortunately for him, aLive actually had a pretty good job of getting marines early on, and he had more than enough marines to cover both bases at the same time. So this pretty much just going to get knocked away quite easily, and the Stalker not having much luck either. I don't think the Stalker actually got 2 kills. They may have been marines. They probably were marines actually, and this guy getting Yeah, no kills at all from this guy, so unfortunate, but he's going to keep testing the borders, and we will have to see. But the Marines, they're getting pretty close to actually moving out, and no doubt they're going to go around here, and this Stalker is going to have to run for it. But the Mothership Corps choosing this as an opportunity to go in, and most likely he'll just take these Marines out and go and defend this Mothership Corps off, and maybe continue moving in. But the Protoss player, he's actually going for a third base here, so this may be the overall goal of the Mothership Corps and the Stalkers, just to keep these guys defensively minded. It's not quite working though. Oh, these Marines, massive bit of miss micro there. Not attack moving, just doing a normal move, and totally missed that Stalker. So not good at all. And the third base coming down for first. So he's just sending a bit of stuff all over the place, putting a little bit of pressure, trying to keep this Marine Marauder force from going in too hard. You can see he's just got individual units all over the place, just trying to hit him bit by bit, trying to keep him from going into the Protoss base. Because if he goes into the Protoss base, he will wipe everything out with the units he has right now. I feel like aLive could quite easily just start hitting a lot of stuff. I mean, he's got 2 Marauders, 16 Marines. First has bugger all, and not only is he getting a very, very early third base, but he's also got a robotics bay. I mean, how top heavy can you possibly be? When I say top heavy, I mean you've got a lot of tech, you've got a lot invested in high level units, you don't have a lot of low level units. So your army size is generally not that big, but you've got the high tech going on. And that's what I mean when I say his army is this Protoss player is very top heavy, so it pays off. In the mid to late game, it pays off so well. And even in the mid game, if you can sort of get out a couple of Colossus, but it's very risky. It's a very, very risky play, because for this amount of guys, if they had moved in, then they could just do so much damage, and there's no way at all that First could defend against that. He would just fall over in a heap. And the question is, right now aLive is in a great position, but he's in a great position right now. The longer he leaves it, the better First position gets to. I mean, if we leave it out to the 15-minute mark, I think that First would be in a very, very good position. He'll have an overwhelming lead in terms of the workers, although maybe not overwhelming because aLive has managed to get his third base out, but yeah, he'll be in a tech lead sort of situation. I mean, if we have a look at the upgrades, where's my upgrades tab? So he's got 1 already. The Terran player only has 1. He's got 2 armor on the way though, and we do have 2 armor on the way for the Protoss. But he's got all of these techs as well. He's got blink. He's got the Colossus range. He's got all of this sort of stuff going on. He's got all the production facilities he'll need for the rest of the game. And he's got all the tech options out, so it's going to be really, really nice. And to some degree, aLive, he should have attacked a couple of minutes ago, but he's going to attack now, and it may not be too late, but I don't know. He's got to stop dicking around and actually get in there and start hitting some stuff, because the longer he waits, the more that sort of opportunity gets away from him. Because right now, I think First is easing into that mid to late game sort of position. He's easing into it very early because he got all the tech options out there. He got the third base out really, really early. He took a lot of risks, but he's getting into that sort of secure mid to late game position in the early to mid game. So it's paying off for him because aLive is letting him get away with a lot of stuff here. And here we go, the 2 Colossus coming around, just having a bit of a look. And aLive's not, I mean, First is not even really trying to push in here. These Zealots are going to try and have a crack, but they're just going to get wiped out. Maybe take a couple of Marines, and yeah, so that's going to be fine. And he might go searching for the pylon up there, but even if he does go searching for the pylon, that just works in First's advantage, because right now he is just beefing himself up so much, and aLive is not behind. Don't get me wrong, aLive is not behind. The thing is, aLive was in front. He had the advantage for about 4 or 5 minutes. As soon as First went for that early third, as soon as he went for the robotics bay, aLive was in front. and he had the lead in terms of army, and then he slowly lost it. So they're about even now, but still, that's definitely, yes, definitely not good. Not good from aLive's point of view, because he had an opportunity, and he didn't see it, he didn't take it. So there we go. But he's fine. It's about evened up right now, and aLive making sure that he gets all of his tech. He does not have. He does have a Ghost Academy. Alright, so that's good. And if we have a look at the upgrades, he's got 1-1. Protoss has 1-2 with 1 weapons on the way, but the Terran player's got 2-2 on the way. So, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. He missed the opportunity to shut the Protoss down nice and early. That's fine. He's still got his shit together. He's still got a good amount of units, actually a little bit more than the Protoss. And he's actually got more workers than the Protoss. So, he's still in a very, very good position to win this, and the Protoss haven't gone for that awesome early economy, has not got the advantage he really wanted, because the Terran has kept pace with him. The Terran has kept things going, and that one Marine out there is going to scout in to see that things are coming. He's going to let this small amount of Zealots move in there instead, and the rest of his army is going to go for this base. So it's a nice bit of a split. I don't know whether aLive will move all of his forces to take care of these Zealots. I'm thinking he probably won't. First may have put his hand in a bit too soon, moving these guys in, not giving aLive enough time to move his main army over to there. But he's going to be repairing this, and he may just hold it off with just a bunker with 2 Marines inside it, which would be absolutely fantastic. It looks like it is going to happen, and yeah, really great job by aLive holding this off without needing to move his main army in there. So he's going to be free to take out these guys. Doing a great job. These guys just dropped out of their dropship for whatever reason. Maybe thinking about taking this pollen out, but they are going to get back up in there. And oh, he fully healed this off, and then he automatically stopped healing it. So that's a bit of a mistake there. I've made that mistake so many times. You fully heal up the bunker, and then as soon as it fully heals up, all the guys stop repairing it, and suddenly it starts going down, and they don't automatically start repairing it. So a bit major mistake there, but he did overall survive. But the problem is the Zealots are going to come in here. There's going to be no bunkers, and he's going to have to send us some decent forces. So there we go. He's got a bunch down there, and they should be able to hold that off without any problems. And here we go. Got a bunch of Vikings over here. They actually got 1 attack, so that's pretty sweet. So the Colossus is not going to be too much of a threat, and he's actually got 5 Colossus. So this is really great for aLive. He's got a ton of Vikings, and he's got a ton of Colossus to hit, so that's going to be great. And if we have a look at the units tab, he does have actually about 12 High Templars, so that's really nice. Ghost count is about 10, so that's nice as well. And we'll have to see how good the Ghost Micro is, and the High Templar Micro as well, because it's all going to come down to, I think, the Storms and the EMP slash snipes on the High Templars. Stalker's going for a bit of an advanced stuff, and then just blink out of there nice and quickly. Didn't do too much damage, but we're going to be fine. This Mothership Core getting left behind, getting instantly taken out. What the hell is this? That's movement speed of observers, man. I don't know why you'd be getting that, but I mean, why not? When you got minerals to burn and you're capped out, you might as well spend it. It's really going to come down to these armies trading, though. How the trade is going to work out. Who's going to do better? Who's going to do worse? And like I said, it really comes down to the Storm and to the Ghost. If the Ghosts manage to get out first and manage to snipe these guys out, look at the Ghosts. Here they go. Oh, High Templar coming out from left field. The Ghosts were expecting to go over there and get some High Templars out. He put the High Templar out from left field and got feedback off on about 3 of these guys. And these guys have been out for so long, their energy is maxed. Triple feedback, and 3 Ghosts died just like that. Absolutely beautiful by first, and that is a very top level move. Just putting the High Templar out on the side, and here goes the Storms. And he's not moving his Ghosts out in front anymore. He realizes their energy is too high. He does not want to get feedback, so he's keeping them back in the army, and that gives the High Templars the opportunity to start storming stuff. So really nice. Keeping his Stalkers out a bit further forward of the main army to try and hit the Vikings or hit everything else, because he knows he can blink them back whenever he needs to. And meanwhile, a whole bunch of Zealots coming in, and they are going to go for No, they were going to go for the main army, but they're going to go for this as well. And he might be able to hold it off. He sees, the command center sees these guys coming in, so he gets in a good position to repair them. And that's going to be fine. But he's going to be worried about these supply depots as well. The main force coming in, some storms scaring away the main Terran army. And meanwhile, he's going to go in there. He might take out this command center, but this one, there's no way it's going to go down. It's being repaired too much. He fully repaired it, and then the SCV stopped repairing, so that's going to be bad. Zealot's finally managing to get through this wall, and the workers are all going to die in this base. So not going to be good at all. That's a major, major hit for first. And aLive's going to try and save some of his workers. He's going to save a fair few of them, but having to pull his forces back. And that's an opportunity that first maybe should have taken care of, but he's not really going to. There was probably like 10-15 seconds where he could have moved into this base freely, but choosing not to. I suppose the planetary fortress just sort of, yeah, it's a bit too much for him to handle at the moment, I think, especially with Colossus heavy army, because Colossus are great at everything but planetary fortresses. They suck at destroying planetary fortresses, especially when they're being repaired, so not good at all. And he actually may be Colossus heavy at the moment. He's going to have a bit of problems dealing with this heavy marauder army. He really needs to get a lot more zealots into his army, a lot more in-your-face sort of units, because, I mean, fair enough, the Stalkers are going to do pretty well at destroying the Vikings, but yeah, not that much. And he is getting the Tempest out, and we have seen the combination of Tempest and Colossus before, and it is a very, very awesome combination. Now, the Tempest don't deal bonus damage to the Vikings, but they have a lot of range, and the range definitely makes up for it. Beautiful storm coming down. High Templar, of course, does go down, but that's going to be fine. And the Ghosts really just going nuts on those Templar, man. Ghosts, they are losing Ghosts, but the High Templar all over the place, and there we go. A couple of feedbacks going down, but the Ghosts are getting constantly hit, and the Force coming down. A nice storm. Not catching too much of the army, though, and the Ghosts are definitely still hunting. Oh, look at this. He's losing so many Ghosts to that feedback. It's just all over the place, and the rest of the Ghosts, it's so little energy, so the feedback coming in from first is just so good, and he's got this beautiful Overseer just right in the middle there, sees absolutely everything, and just doing such a good job. And meanwhile, the Protoss player just expanding like there's no tomorrow. He has got 5 bases against, actually the Terrans player's got his own 5th base out there, hidden in the middle, and I don't know if the observer actually saw those guys moving up. We may have seen them, and we may be seeing this force going up there, wiping out this base nice and quickly. It does look like he may have seen it. There we go. This Zealot is going to cinch the deal right there. And this force, he's got to kill this observer, man. He's got to see that this observer is there. Because, yeah, look at this. There we go. The planetary taking care of that guy, so that's going to be fine. But a bunch more guys are going to come over there. And right now the Protoss definitely taking a lot of map control here. Definitely going all over the base. And the Terran player, he'd love to defend this base, but he does not want to leave his this base over here undefended. Oh, look at the storms coming out from... I mean, why would you expect a High Templar to be over there? Why? There is no reason for a High Templar to be in the north area, but for some reason there was one there, and you got a very unexpected storm off nice and quickly. And the Mothership Core once again going down. And look at this, man. Tons of Colossus, tons of Tempests, and these Tempests are going to take care of the Vikings nice and easily. And the Vikings, of course, unless he micros them, they are going to hit the Tempest before they hit the Colossus. And this is like a variation of the Protoss Death Ball, which is Colossus Void Ray. Instead of Colossus Void Ray, it's Colossus Tempest, and my god, does it do a lot of damage. So here we go. Look at all the mining guys coming down here. The Stalker's just going to sit back and attack. And this force going full in, and the Terran player, he could try and get a flank, but it probably won't happen. The guys will just move back down there. And look at how many Colossus he's got. That is just stupidly large. He's trying to make this happen. Most of the workers get away, though. I think he must have seen these guys coming. And I reckon he needs to send the ground army in, do what he's doing, attack those bases, but the Vikings need to be over here. The Vikings are useless over here. They need to be sniping Tempers off the edge right here and forcing them to rethink forcing them to not just not be able to go in there carte blanche and just hit everything. The Vikings need to be harassing these forces right now, because they are doing jack all over here. And no, he's going to keep him on here. He's expecting the Protoss to be countering him at some point. A nice storm, just going to be missing these, dodging storms all over the place. But so far, I don't know, it may come down to a base race, but the Vikings really got to get out of here because they're not doing anything back here at all. And a bunch of High Templars coming in here, not enough energy to storm right off the bat. And meanwhile, this force coming in here, so it does look like the Terran is thinking about just a base race, because although with pylons all over the place, it's not going to happen. Of course, aLive does have command centers all over the place. He's got this one, which I don't think the Protoss knows about, so we can hide that over there. Of course, Tempest should be able to find that fairly easily. And it's going to come down to armies at some point. And this Viking force, you know, oh, he's got all these Vikings as well, so maybe it'll be alright. He's got to keep his Vikings alive, though. The Vikings are the most important unit he has right now. And the High Templars consistently hitting the low ground stuff. So it might be alright, but it looks like the Vikings, the Tempest army is finally coming over. They're finally going to hit this Terran force. They looks like he thinks he has a pretty good flank here. Bunch of High Templars and Zealots going to be keeping this ramp closed, and this ramp closed by a ton of Colossus. And here we go, the Vikings versus Tempest. And they're going to be going in, and all you need is a storm down here. But the Tempests are just demolishing the Viking numbers, and I think it is all over from aLive, because he's just got nothing left. He's chosen a drop over here, but with no Vikings left over, he has got no chance of winning this game anymore, and it's all going to come down to a GG. I don't know how long it's going to take, but we can expect it to be in the next minute or so. And here we go, these guys just running away. But there really is no hope of the Terran player winning anymore in this game. And man, oh man, Colossus Death Ball. I mean, the Protoss Death Ball, Colossus and Tempest, just so good. But they're so expensive. The Tempests are just so expensive, and the Colossus are so expensive. By far, it's the I believe it's the most expensive force you can possibly get in terms of minerals and gas. And yeah, just. First managing to get it up, and aLive really just not pushing in to the Protoss base as much as he should have. Just sort of sitting back. He says, alright, Protoss player, you can macro. You know what? If you want a macro, I'm just going to match your macro. And that turned out to be a mistake, because Triple M cannot stand up to Colossus Tempest. It just cannot. So if you both got unlimited minerals, the Protoss player goes Colossus Tempest, and you got shit. I mean, you cannot do anything against that. The only thing, I don't even know if Battle Cruiser with Yamato cannons could deal with this, because these guys would just shred Battle Cruisers, absolutely shred them. You would need like Goliath or something like that, maybe Thors to take this army out. Maybe a heavy mech army with Thors? Wait, yes, he is a Terran player, so yeah, heavy mech army with Thors, because you've got to remember the Thors can do this single target damage, which is quite higher than their sort of spread out muta damage. And yeah, they can do quite well. He's managed to get this force up though, so that's quite nice. Managed to get those guys up, but I don't think it's gonna matter. I mean, he's very Marine heavy, but Marines just get owned by Colossus, and I don't know, even if he takes out all the Colossus, which I don't think he will be able to do. And look at this, first getting out a bunch of Archons as well, so he's 2 steps ahead of the ball here. And first, I mean, aLive thinking about just going in there. Couple of storms are going to make him think differently. He's going to run out again, and he's just got no hope. He's kept on going, but I think the game finished a few minutes ago, and aLive is just postponing the inevitable at this point. Because look at this storm, man. Such a good storm right there, and this has got to be over. The GG has got to be coming soon. There we go. There's the GG. That just one storm, just woof, really bad. So congratulations to First there for taking out that very nice game, and off a pretty good start in the first game of this series. aLive has just been getting outplayed quite a bit. He's been going for a massive amount of macro, but the problem is the Terran player, man, with just a focus on Triple M, it's very hard to go up against High Templar and first just been doing such a good job with his High Templar, constantly going in from all different directions, constantly getting a ton of storms off. And this Colossus Tempest build was just so awesome. So really, really nice job there. And first we'll be taking this series 2-1 right now. So he only needs to win one more game to head off into the semi-finals. And he will be facing either Jaedong or Naniwa. And those players have still got to be heading off against each other in the next quarterfinal. But yeah, this is going to be really, really crazy. And actually in these quarterfinals, we've actually only got 2 Zerg players. We've got 3 Protoss, 3 Terran, and 2 Zergs. And a couple of players which we have not seen before at all. So it's going to be very, very exciting. But yeah, we've got to get through this first and get through this, man. This is some of the best games I've seen so far. I mean, Colossus Tempest. Who thinks up this shit, really? I mean, it's just absolutely crazy, but it works so well. So there we go. Anyway, moving on. We're going to be heading into game number 4. And it is last chance for aLive to get himself back into this tournament, because he loses one more game, he's out. So he's got to win the next game, and he's got to win the game after, otherwise he's out. So stay tuned for that. This has been Hairy Muppet. I hope you enjoyed this game.